name's Emma, and this is a love you letter to Gladlands. If you haven't seen it, it's on Dropout. It came out like a month ago, and it single-handedly, I think, is helping cure some of my mental health issues, which sounds like a lot, and arguably is. But my reasoning for it is that, one, I'm from Minnesota, born and raised. I am in Minneapolis, been here since 2017, at least in the Twin Cities, and I work taking care of a lot of people in my area. I do hair for a living, which isn't technically the most traditional caretaking that most people would say, but I would argue that it really is. It's been tough. It has been issues. There's been a lot of stuff going on, but I just wanted to put this out to say thank you to Gladlands, and also to go in-depth video ranting, whatever you want to call it, about why I love this so much. This is my love letter to Gladlands. Now, as I said, a lot of us are struggling here. As many of you might know, ICE said that they were leaving like a week ago. They are still here. They might have slightly lowered their numbers, but we are still being punished. Today, JD Vance came out saying that they're going to cut Medicare funding to my home state, and that is going to directly affect not only me, but those around me. It's going to actually negatively hurt a lot of people, all because we decided to stand up to an authoritarian regime. Now, that might sound dramatic, but it's not. I wish it was. It's rough here. And so I feel like a lot of people need a really good laugh and also need a really good cry. And with Gladlands, I have gotten both. It has been cathartic, it's been hard, it's been made me feel a full range of emotions that I did not expect. Since I have not watched any other of the Dimension 20 anything, I have felt a little intimidated. I got into Dropout because of Game Changer and Make Some Noise and Very Important People. Those ones I watch religiously. I rewatch them. I have watched them so many times. I have even been telling my clients for months to watch Dropout. But recently I've been starting to tell my clients to watch Gladlands because it feels like it came out at the exact perfect time for Minnesotans, and especially people in the Twin Cities who are exhausted and just need something positive in their life. It's been truly healing and helpful in the most beautiful, stunning way possible that I really need the creators of Gladlands to understand. A big thank you to all of these lovely people that have created it on screen. Now, I will be talking about you individually because I love you all so much, but I really felt the need to write this down and get this out of there because I really appreciate it. But I would also like to say a quick fuck you to Vic Michaelis and Brennan Lee Mulligan. You know why. You fucking destroyed me in episode 4, 5, I can't remember which one it was, but you fucking wrecked me, dude. That fucking scene in the fucking history heap, I was sobbing. I will put a photo somewhere on the screen of a photo I took of myself to send to my friends of me being absolutely destroyed and decimated in such an unexpected way. I will not say any more details. It is like, I think it's episode 5. It is such a beautiful, deep, cathartic cry that I was not expecting, and fuck you for that, but also thank you, but fuck you. It was truly a healing moment, and I needed that and didn't realize I needed it until it happened. Come with me while I go through character by character and why I love you so much. So sorry. So I wanted to start with Zach Oyama as my first one to talk about. He goes by he, him pronouns. Also, his character, Kana Kawasaki, is also he, him pronouns. I also really appreciate that Dropout always says the pronouns of the people on screen, whether it's the characters like with Dimension 20 or on screen for like every single thing. They always have their pronouns, and I really appreciate that and think it should be the norm, and I'm glad that is the norm for this company. First of all, he is fucking insane in the funniest. One of the best things about, I think, in general, Zach Oyama is that he is one of the best straight men that gets so fucking goofy, but he will straight man his way through it. It's so good, and he has these moments throughout the story that is just so heartfelt and bringing in connections And he also was like, why, how did you survive? Like in episode 6, especially, or 5, when him and Hughie have that moment together, and it's just absolutely stunning, and it's so heartfelt and beautiful that they have this connection to them, and he is just always on a whim ready to save whoever, no matter the cost, and he's not going to worry about it. And it's just like this beautiful balancing character that I feel like adds this just beauty of just like, he's going to persevere through it, and he's going to help people as best he can, and that's just how it's gonna go. He takes life as it is and deals with the facts as it is and doesn't worry about it. And it's really just this really beautiful, balancing, goofy, fun character with his fucking dirt bike. I just really love that. I also love that in general there's a mix of like, most of these people, 4 out of 6 of them have played before, and I think Zach is one of those people that has been playing so long that he is extremely good at playing the game. I'm playing the tabletop game just very well and understanding the mechanics and just really being able to tap into such heartfelt moments through these mechanics, and it's just beautiful, and he plays it very well, which is true across the board. Now, I do have a feeling that I'm going to talk about certain characters more than other ones. That is not a read on or a bad thing about any of them. I feel like stronger personal connections to certain characters over other ones, and I feel like that's how I felt with it. Next, I'm going to go to Jacob Wysocki. Also Kokomo, him pronouns for Jacob, and Kokomo has he, all pronouns. Kokomo is just this beautiful, heartfelt, gooey, lovely character that has this sense of joy and positivity and love and care. I think it also shows that how important that physical touch, that physical connection, whether it's platonic or sexual or whatever it is so important to being balanced throughout the world, and especially in a time where a lot of us are feeling very isolated, especially post-COVID, even now, years later, from like the lockdown. I think a lot of us are still feeling that lack of connection, a lack of physical touch, which does create a negative impact on our lives. And seeing this character who's all about just like fiercely loyal to their friends, fiercely beautiful and positive, and trying to do their best, and when they can't do well or things are a bummer or things like that, they take it very to heart. And I think that is the case for a lot of people, especially people who don't have I think in some ways, some people who don't have the stamina of dealing with very harsh, deep, dark things in their lives, or similarly to how people in some ways who have never dealt with serious mental health issues until later in life because of like, say, right now, and they don't have the stamina of resolve to get through that, of feeling so depressed and sad. And I think you see that a little bit. Now I think Kokomo is a lot more bounce back, I guess you could say, than say other people, average person. But I think having this beautiful, just kind, soft, beautiful, fiercely loyal character just really does, again, balance out all of these other emotions, all these other big characters that have such big feelings. And also, again, with like when Kokomo reaches some breaking points, it proves that like we all have that. We all have that breaking point where we fucking lose it, and we lose our mind. It doesn't mean you're a bad person, it doesn't mean you're terrible, it doesn't mean any of these negative things. It just means you're human and a being, and that we all have our limits. But being able to find that grace and find that forgiveness to keep going is just, it's beautiful. Also, Jacob Wysocki is truly one of the funniest fucking people I've seen in years, and that's true for all of them. Next, I'm going to be talking about Kimia Bapornia. She goes with she, her pronouns. She plays test tubes, which is he, him pronouns. She is one of the 2 people whose first time is playing D&D, at least on Dimension 20. I think also in general. And I think that the beautiful thing with Kimia is that she fully goes all in. She is fully in. She doesn't know what she's doing, respectfully, and she does a beautiful job of just playing it just like this beautiful character that's just like, I'm doing my best, which I'm sure probably paralleled her experience going fucking through this. And I really do love test tubes of like, he's really a character that feels like an older brother that you'd always wanted, that supports you, that loves you, that cares for you, and it's like, yeah, I'm kind of a fucking idiot, but like, I love you. And also shows the importance of like, intellect is in everything. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's caring, sometimes we all have our intellect in different ways, in different facets than just book smarts, of learning, of education, of things like that. We all have our own intelligence, and I think Test Tubes is a show of that, of like, he cares so much for all that is around him. He cares for his family, his friends, everything, and he puts his all into it, and it's beautiful. And it just is this beautiful, just very comforting character, and overcoming these hardships. He also made me cry as well. He does such a wonderful job of, again, balancing out, but like being able to give these beautiful speeches and beautiful tales of just like, I love you, I care for you, we're here, we're family, and truly everything he says is from the heart and truly from his soul and what he believes in. And I think it's the beautiful of being truly honest, not only with yourself but those around you, and that like you can be goofy and silly and you can still have such great morals and a good compass and good friends and things to follow you forward. He's a beautiful character. Also accepting that his pitfalls and issues and his just fucking dumb as shit in some ways, but like in the funniest way possible. And he's just a fucking himbo vibes in the best, most beautiful, stunning way of like, this is just a non-toxic, beautiful dude who's a fucking bug, which I love him. So thank you, Kimya, for this beautiful character. So next is gonna be Oscar Montoya, who goes by he, him pronouns, and then he played Poppy Persona, who goes by she, her pronouns. I truly love Poppy. I feel like I wrote more about her than I did anyone else. I really did have this beautiful feeling, because I feels like Poppy Persona is who I would want to be, like who I would look up to being. Like, she is strong-willed, she is independent, she is kind, she is determined, she is all of these beautiful things, and she's so creative. And I really do love her, that her goal is to bring joy to those around me. And even though she comes from a place where she has a hard time with that, she really just has this beautiful arc. I feel like one of my favorite arcs throughout this first season, and it's just beautiful to see her growth. I will also say the way Oscar Montoya plays it is stunning. He really he accepts the roles as they are. I feel like he plays one of the best games in this entire group of people, because he just takes as it is and lets the fate fall. And I feel like it leads to such a beautiful story, a true story of like just accepting when failures fail out of your control. Well, no matter what you do, you're gonna fail and you're gonna try your best, but it's still gonna fall apart. And it's this beautiful way of like seeing the game in a different way, and he really does a phenomenal job. Also, Poppy is this beautiful just starlight of a character that just, I feel like, brings joy to every person she touches, and his main goal is to create beauty and harmony and love and care to everyone. And I absolutely loved her. She is extremely creative, and honestly, I feel like in season 2 I would love to see like a crash out from her of like, what would it, like someone who's so put together, so smart, so quick-witted, like I feel like we got close with it, but I feel like seeing like a true crash out and a burnout on her would be fascinating to see. But even if that doesn't happen, it was absolutely phenomenal. She really brings this whole group together and adds this level of realism and this level of roundedness, which I think Kokomo does as well, but like especially with Poppy Persona, in a way that I wouldn't have expected from a character who's this stunning and wild in herself. She adds this like level of like just steadiness of like she's always her, and she's not what you see is what you get, and which is true for a lot of these characters, but in this like sturdy, like found yourself way, which you talk about in Oscar Montoya talks about in like some of the behind the scenes kind of, I can't remember what it's called, but anyways, talks a little bit about like his own journey, and it feels like it's beautiful to see when like people's own life experiences kind of seep through to their characters, and it really was just a beautiful storytelling, and it was one of the best character arcs I think in the entire season. It really was. I want to see more from the other characters, but I really loved what she did. Now with Ellie Beardsley, they go by they them pronouns, and then they play Quinn, who I for some reason forgot to write down their pronouns, but I think she goes by she her pronouns, Quinn does, I think. If it's not, I will correct it. but I would just like to say, how dare you? That last episode, I won't say anything more, but you absolutely fucking destroyed me, as you did the rest of the table. But how fucking dare you do something like that and expect, specifically in the fucking dark, like, you know what I'm talking about. If you have seen it, do not spoil it, but in the dark, at the very end, fucking insane. That made me laugh harder, I think, than anything has made me laugh, and I want to say thank you and fuck you to that, because it was the funniest shit I have seen in ages. And I laugh fucking hard for a lot of Dropout, but that one specifically was stunning. It was the most insane shit. And I will say, in general, I think Ali Beardsley, they are one of the most chaotically funny people, I think, on the entire Dropout cinematic universe. They have the ability to be so fucking insane and just commit to it. And it's so good, and they are so absolutely hilarious in the best way possible, and I very much appreciate it. And if you don't watch it for anything, watch it for Quinn, watch it for Ali Beardsley's character. She is an absolute maniac, and it is so good. And also this like beautiful version of what you see on the surface isn't always what the person is like. Like, they have their backstory is insane and have been such harmed, but they have this level of empathy and kindness to those around them that is unexpected and beautiful. It's stunning. It does, again, everyone does a great job, but also you absolute fucking maniac. Like, what the fuck? Please watch it. Now, to Vic Michaelis. They go by they, she pronouns, and they play Hughie, which is all pronouns. I'd like to say, thank you so much for your service. Vic Michaelis is the other person that has never played before but has watched a lot of Dimension 20, and lovingly, you do so poorly in this game, and it is so good, but it's also, like, you do so poorly, but at the same time, Vic Michaelis, they do such a beautiful job at just playing into a real person's fault of like what it really does look like to push yourself past exhaustion, to push yourself past the need of help, to push yourself and continue going. Honestly, as someone who burns out very easily, as someone who has struggled immensely with my own mental health, who is struggling immensely with my own mental health, who is surrounded by people who are verging on burning out constantly, it was very cathartic to see. I think Vic, for a lot of people, for the people I've talked to, they have had the most connection with Hughie, because Hughie is trying to do it all. They are doing their best, they are good at what they're doing, but they're fucking losing it. And I don't want to go into too much detail about it, because if you have not seen this, which please do, they have the most heart-wrenching and beautiful story arcs that I've ever seen. And it is so just, it wrecks you, because it also feels like you are a part of it, because you are also going through that same thing. Because for me, it's like, again, I'm in Minneapolis. I'm struggling with it. I'm seeing people who are adversely being affected constantly. I'm seeing people who are going on runs, people who are donating, people who are putting time, energy, everything, having to explain what ICE agents are to their children, explaining why some of their classmates are not coming back, or explaining what is going so terribly, why is the president so bad, having to explain to their children why all of these terrible things are happening and we have no control, and why is the president lying, why are these people lying, why are people being hurt, why is my neighborhood locked down, why can't I do this, why do I hear whistles all the time, why, and you have no good answer, because there isn't a good reason. There isn't, and it's just terrible, and it's pain and suffering on human beings, and you are just pushing and pushing and pushing, because you know there are people who are doing worse, and it leads to yourself also burning out and feeling guilty for taking time alone, feeling like you're allowed to have that hour break, for having that day break, for having a day of just relaxation, and how it feels like you should always be doing more, but you can't, because you will burn out, you will fall apart, you will lose your ability to help anyone else, and how you have to find that ability and time and way to not only help yourself but help others around you. And finding that balance is fucking difficult. Specifically with Hoogie and with Vic Michaelis' character, they do such a good job of just showing what we're feeling, showing the pain, showing the suffering, showing what it feels like to say, like, I feel like I have to hold it together for everyone, but I can't. And I can't even hold myself together, but I need to do it for all these people. And it's this feeling of looking in a mirror and seeing yourself and being like, okay, so if I keep heading down the direction I'm heading, this might happen. I might burn out. I might lose my entire will. It might lose something. And having that healing moment of seeing the Hoogie's arc is just, like, I loved Poppy Persona's arc too. I think it was beautiful, but I think it hit more to home with Hoogie because it feels more home with what's happening in Minneapolis, what's happening in the Twin Cities in Minnesota and all across our nation, of what the fuck is happening, and I have to hold it together for those around me, and I don't know if I can. And it does such a good job. It really did help have this catharsis of, like, okay, if I ask for help, if I create support systems, if I start having a little bit of time for myself, if I have a little bit of time for relaxation, if I set boundaries that help me keep going, and it really is just a perfect way to see, like, okay, we can do this, we're just gonna keep going. And I have to thank you specifically, Vic Michaelis, for that, because it was stunning and exactly what I needed. And I know this from another client who I had a haircut with them, and the entire appointment we were talking about Gladlands pretty much, and how much it just wrecked us and brought us back together. And they were like, yeah, I'm on like fourth watch. How this is like the thing that's keeping us together. So thank you. Specifically Vic Michaelis, to everyone, but specifically thank you, because that character was absolutely needed and appreciated, and thank you.
Okay, so I have to refilm this because I apparently didn't film Brennan Lee Mulligan's section. And I would say I feel bad, but I think it's kind of funny that I forgot it. So that's why I'm in different outfit, different day. It's like, I don't even know how much later it is, but yeah. Anyways, let's get to Brennan. Brennan, I would like to say a final thank you and fuck you for all that you did. It really did make the entire season, because I know you had other people on your writing team helping create this, but you did also bring all of these people together to really create this. And you also played so many of these characters that really brought the entire show to life. And you were really, like, I think what you said before, like the through line of it all. It really was amazing. And although it's fun to shit on you, and it's fun to see people that actually know you shit on you, I will not be doing that. I will be telling you how amazing you are, because I truly feel like you are one of the best storytellers of definitely your generation. Because you have such this amazing ability of making people feel included, and also creating this just beautiful on-the-spot story that just feels like so impactful, and you're able to create these such low moments yet such high moments and such high emotions, and you have the ability, a beautiful ability, which is true for all of them, but especially you, of being extremely vulnerable and really wearing your heart and everything on your sleeve while you're doing that. It really does feel like I'm listening to an ancient, like, epic, and it's pretty amazing. Hi, so I'm about to start rambling and ranting about ancient literature. If you want to skip that, I'll put the timestamp either down below or markers or something, just so you know. So thank you. Also, fun fact about me, I have been listening to this really amazing podcast called Literature and History. It also has a website called literatureandhistory.com that you can also find the podcast, as well as quizzes for each episode, where we'll quiz you on what he talks about in that 1.5 to 2 hour long podcast. And it goes into ancient pieces of literature and the historic context around it. So that way you know, one, the translation, you get to hear the story, but also know about the values, what the importance of that system, their rating systems. It's all around, like, archaeology. It's beautiful. It's amazing. Also, the guy that does it is an amazing storyteller. I'll link it down below. But it really reminds me, because I just listened to the Iliad and the Odyssey, and it really reminds me of this story specifically with the Gladlands reminds me a lot of like an ancient epic story and tale where these heroes go on their hero's journey and find their way back and everything ends up okay, and it has a happy, fulfilled ending but with instead of ancient ideals that are violent and intense and very misogynistic at points and very just insane at points, it has actual morals that I align with, which I prefer. Like, it is not racist, it is not homophobic, it is not sexist, it is just good people trying to do good things, and I really do love it because it makes me want to also listen to the rest of the Dimension 20 cinematic universe, I guess you could say. But it really is beautiful, and I feel like it's truly not being seen in a lot of places, especially because we're not doing a lot of original content anymore. Not with Dropout obviously, but with a lot of other streaming services, a lot of other companies and corporations that are just not wanting to fund or put in new stories and encourage these new writers or storytellers and things like that. I feel like there is a push for it, but I feel like Dropout has been doing it consistently for a minute, and I do genuinely really appreciate it because it really is extremely amazing and stunning to see and listen to. You really did create a world where, as someone who really sees themselves as an aggressive optimist, that I need to find a happy ending, a possible positively, a good turn, half glass full, always type of person, which can be a lot for certain people, but it's the way I live. Especially with mental health history, it's how I keep going and survive. And so seeing a story where I can kind of release my anxiety, because I do love these stories that are being told where it's a realistic ending and it's beautiful and it's not always perfect. I think that's a beautiful way to tell a story, but I personally, when I want to escape into another reality, another world, I want everyone of the main characters to survive. I want them to be hardships, I want them to have actual problems, but I want them to be okay, or have the possibility of being okay someday, like personally, because I don't like when people die. And I feel like with these stories, and you as a storyteller, at least from Gladlands, it seems like you're trying to push your characters to their limits, but also encourage them to do better and give them the opportunity to do better, especially by leaning on each other and everything. And I think that's just absolutely beautiful and commendable, so thank you for that. But back to the regular schedule programming and all of that, so thank you.
Now, I do want to take a quick moment and call out the crew and the artists behind it. I don't know your names, I apologize, but I do want to take a moment and thank you guys for the people who created the set, for people who did the pizza, the people who communicated, did timelines, who made sure everything in the art and like in the dome of the lights and the changes and all of the little like minis and things like that, and just all of the little things and creating the good goo. It's just thank you to all of those people who created this, because you guys were instrumental, because I feel like if you didn't have that, and also like the individual character sheets and the drawing and imaging and that the artists that did that, it was beautiful, it was so incredibly talented. And what I do also love fundamentally about Dropout is the amount of care and love and support that the crew gets, not just the people who are on stage on camera, but the people who are behind the scenes and doing so much work and labor, how much they seem to be appreciated and shown out. It's beautiful to see that they are given the resources and time and energy to be able to be creative and create beautiful things, and be able to have such a beautiful collaboration between everyone is just stunning. And immensely appreciate you all for all of your work. So I just wanted to mention that, because although I talked a lot more about the people on screen, I do want to take a moment to appreciate you and thank you for all of the parts that you were a part of, that especially the parts that I didn't mention. Thank you. I appreciate it. So in conclusion, this, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, from Minneapolis. Thank you so much. This was unknowingly probably on your guys' part, but so helpful. It made life so much better. It gave me a little bit of joy. It gave other people a little bit of joy. It was one of the most beautiful stories, and it has been just stunning. It has been so comforting and so helpful, and has really been one of the best stories I think I have seen in years. Entire story with collaboration, that like the more you work with other people, the better you do. And I think that as a method of storytelling is just stunning, because it is true and it's inspiring. Just a beautiful epic tale, like the true term of epic. It killed me and saved me and made everything better in so many ways. And as a lover of nonfiction, I read biographies of dead artists frequently. I love history. I genuinely enjoy reading nonfiction and seeing the history heap and seeing the pitfalls of nonfiction, of true stories of history was also just beautiful to see, that to be reminded of the balance we need. We need people who are interested in that history, but we also need the people who will tell the average person good things and also teach them to be good and teach them these morals to continue being good. And I think it also reflects what is going wrong in our society. It's a fantastic story. I loved it all, and I want to say thank you. And if you watch this and for some reason haven't seen Gladlands, please watch it. It is incredibly well done. It is incredibly beautiful. The storytelling is immaculate. The art, the design, the characters, the humor, the everything. It'll make you cry, it'll make you laugh, it'll make you feel all the things. Not as long a story. I like listening to it while playing a video game or crafting or something of the sort, or even if you're just having some free time and doing some stuff, cooking, put on some headphones and listen to it. It's a story you don't have to watch, you can mainly listen to and occasionally glance. It's stunning. Thank you so much. And also, as a PS, I had to mention, like, I was skeptical about that pizza party. It was incredibly insane that you were able to cover that entire table with pizza and look so realistic and so real, because it was. And I'm incredibly proud of the team that was able to put pizza on the table and fully cover it. And it's the steam and beautiful. Wow, I am incredibly impressed. Can't wait to see next year's or next season's work. But thank you, and I look forward to season 2, because if there's not a season 2, I will cancel my subscription to Dropout. Thank you.